Over the years, Analogue has become famous for their incredible, unrivaled FPGA-based retro consoles. But they've also become infamous for how difficult it can be to get your hands on their amazing products. And their latest, the glow-in-the-dark Analogue Pocket, might be their best but most exclusive release yet. When the glow-in-the-dark Pocket was announced a few weeks ago, Analogue was very clear that there would be an extremely limited quantity of units. And come release day, we learned just how limited it was, selling out in just under 3 minutes. Now, Analogue is no stranger to dealing with consumer frustration. They've done several limited edition, impossible to get releases in the past. Both the Super NT and Mega SG had special collaboration editions with different music labels, and they've even made a 24-karat gold NT Mini. Even worse, however, is that their regular, more mass-produced consoles can also sell out in a matter of minutes. And even if you do manage to get a confirmed order of, say, a black or white Analogue Pocket, some people had to wait well over a year to receive it. The glow-in-the-dark Pocket, though, was like a perfect storm. You have a bunch of people who are already frustrated with waiting months for a Pocket, an incredibly limited supply, and the fact that this is probably Analogue's coolest release to date. This device is simply beautiful. The plastic they used on the shell has a soft, almost milky translucency, and even in the light, the subsurface scattering that happens around the edges gives it a pleasing halo effect, and the shade of green that they landed on perfectly captures that nostalgic look of glow-in-the-dark toys we all had as kids. And of course, we have to talk about that glow. I think a lot of us were initially surprised that, in the dark, the plastic takes on a speckled, almost glittery look. I know that I was expecting it to be a more solid, uniform glow based on all the marketing images, and to be honest, I was a bit turned off when I first saw people posting pictures of the glow online. But once I got it in my hands and witnessed it up close, I have to say that the look has definitely grown on me. And if you charge up the console with a UV light, the glow can get pretty intense, which I personally love. Because if you're going to market something as glow in the dark, I want it to really glow. And thankfully, Analogue delivered. Now, when I was contemplating what Analogue might do for a special edition Pocket, a glow-in-the-dark variant was not even on my mind. Like many others, I thought we were probably going to see a transparent purple variant like an atomic purple Game Boy Color. But if it were up to me, and I could make my dream Analogue Pocket, I would have gone with the cool blue of Nintendo's best-looking handheld ever, the ice blue Game Boy Pocket. There's just something so iconic about this colorway. Along with the gold and silver versions, it used a sparkling metallic paint that gave those handhelds such a unique premium feeling. And to this day, it remains probably my favorite handheld console of all time. So Analogue, if for some reason you're watching this video, come on, make it happen. The choice to do a glow-in-the-dark shell isn't without some heritage. The Game Boy Pocket did have a very rare, Japanese exclusive glow-in-the-dark variant. And from what I can gather, only a couple thousand were made, and you had to enter a sweepstakes in order to win one. Something I really like about Nintendo's version is that they went with contrasting black buttons. I think they provide a nice balance to the console, one that would look great on the Analogue. I've thought about opening it up and doing a button swap with my black Pocket, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. When it comes to the rest of the console, the Glow has all the same features and functionality as its non-limited cousins. I was hoping that this special release would coincide with a new firmware update, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. It's been months since Analogue last dropped an update, which means that we're still waiting on big features like the custom screen options in OpenFPGA, and my most anticipated feature, compatibility with the Analogue DAC. Because, let's be serious, everything looks better on a CRT. The Analogue Pocket is still my go-to device when I want a strong hit of nostalgia. Even after using the Ambernicks and Miu Minis of the world, there's just something different, something special about the Pocket. The screen quality is unmatched, and the aspect ratio makes it perfect for Gameboy games, and it's also still the only device that lets me plug in my own cartridges, which might not be a huge deal for most people, but if you watched my previous review on the Analogue Pocket, linked down below, you know just how important it is to me. The console still feels great in the hands, the buttons and build quality are all top-notch. It's everything you should expect from a $250 handheld console. So the big question is, what does Analogue do next? The glow-in-the-dark version is completely sold out, and both the black and white versions are listed as out of stock. So unless you resort to eBay, there's no way to even purchase an Analogue console at the moment. I know that many are hoping that Analogue is preparing a new horizontal form factor, something similar to the Game Boy Advance. I'll always have a soft spot for the vertical layout of the original Game Boy, but I know that ergonomically, many people prefer the more comfortable candy bar layout, so a horizontal version seems like a decent possibility. Even though I definitely didn't need a third Analogue Pocket in my collection, I am glad that I managed to pick up a Glow. It's a bold color choice and a fun throwback on top of an already fantastic handheld. Now, Analogue, if you want me to buy a fourth one, you know what to do.